Once again, a very warm welcome to you all. Often it has been seen that the students of second year engineering students they are getting the difficulties while writing the programs. Uh, so here in this lecture of series of my third lecture, I'm going to focus on writing the programs for the beginners. So writing the program, in my sense, it is a game of playing with variables and functions. So if you know that how to write variables and functions and how to use those, then you can write a very successful program. So for writing the program, you must ensure that the required software are already installed. So in my first lecture series for preparing the setup, like how you can prepare the setup for programming languages, you can visit on the link mentioned over here. Now, the second question comes, which language and you have to choose for writing the program. So, it depends on which language you feel confident to write the program. But even though if you feel some of the language very confident, but you cannot use that. Suppose if you have to develop a program for web-based application, you cannot develop it by using the C language. Because C is a language which is mostly used for system software development. But for the web development, you must have to use those languages which are built to be interpreted on the web browser. For example, those languages are like JSP, ASP.NET, and JavaScript and so on. So here, let's take the example of, we are going to take the examples by using the C language, as I feel that most of you have already gone through the C language in your first year course syllabus. So, now if you are going to write a program, you divide your program into two different approaches. First approach, you can divide as a problem approach, how to start writing your program. So first thinking is come, what is required? If you have given a program to write, what is required? So you have to think that every program must have the variables and functions. So any sort of program, any programming languages, if you are going to write, it must having variables and functions. So the question comes, what is the role of the variable and what is the role of the function? The role of the variable is the placeholder of the values. So whatever the value you are using in your program, that can be referenced only with the help of variables, because in the programming languages you cannot write the values directly. It must be referred by a variable. And you can use the functions for updating those values of the variables, referred by variables. Now, the second thinking which must come in the mind is what sort of variable I have to use. Like every variable is having a style. So we must know what type of variable I am going to use in my program and what functions I have to write for updating those values. So if you are sure, now in this slide, I have come to a conclusion that we must have variables and we must have functions, and we have to decide what type of variable I have to use and what function I have to write. Once you have decided what type of variable and what functions you have to write, you have to go for the solution approach. So in the solution approach, decide what is the input and what is the output in your program. So how can you decide what is the input and what is the output? You can decide what is the input in my program by the value which is given. If something is given in your program, you treat that as an input of your program, and the result which you are expecting, that will be the output of your program. So once you have the input and the output, you can place this input and output into variables, and that will be treated as global variables. Global variable, if I say, means a variable which is declared at the class level. Second thinking is, once you have the input and output that you have stored inside the output and the global variable, now how to write the function? So while writing the function, you must have to write the logic for getting the output by the input. So while writing the logic, in between you are using some kind of variables, and those variables are called as local variables. These variables we use for storing the output value, and these local variables are written by the function which is mapped to the global variable at the class level. Now, as an example program, if suppose we are taking an example to write a factorial of a number, so if we see the problem approach, in the problem approach we have decided like what must have the variable and function. We must have the variable and functions. So here variable, if I decide as an input, it is a number, because factorial of a number, we are talking about the factorial of a number. So it is a number, so it will be type integer, which is the language construct, and the function name should be a meaningful function name. So I am going to take the function as a name factorial. In the solution approach, we have to give the input and output as the global variables, and we are going to use local variables, and we are also going to use the logic for getting the output and storing that output inside the local variable. So here the labels A, B, C, D, E have been taken so that you can get like what are the variables and what are the functions, what are the global variables, local variables which I have used inside my program. So while writing down my programs, I would write A so that you will come to know that these are the variables. I would specify it by B so that you will come to know that this is the function name. I will specify C so that you will come to knowing that this is the global variable. Specifying it with D, you will come to know that these are the local variables which is used inside the function. So let's write a program. Since you are familiar with writing the program by using the C language, so I can quickly write the program by using the C for factorial of the number. So this will be a factorial of for a number. So every program in C we have to start by writing the main function. So inside the main, we have to use variables. So the variable we can take as the type integer for input number and integer output number. So here these types int as I am representing A, B. So A, B over here, you can see, A for representing the type. So here this input number is a variable. I am giving it as a type int. So this input I am going to take from keyboard. So I will ask the user to enter the number from the keyboard. number. Now the required number will be read by the keyboard. This is a format specifier %d which will be reading this number. Once we have this input number, that's fine. So here we have we are able to read the number from the keyboard. Now these are the two variables which we have written, input and output number. Now we have to write the logic for writing the getting the output. So we are going to take the function which is named as factorial, and it will take the integer as a parameter. So integer, any number. So here this is a factorial, it's a valid meaningful name. So factorial over here, you can represent it by b. It's a meaningful name. And if we are writing something like this, that means that this is a function which is accepting something, and it will also return me a type of integer. The function must have a type also. So here this is my function where I am using this output one. This is my local variable which is discussed over here as this one d, and these two are my global variables. These two, input number and output number, are my global variables. So here what the logic I have applied is, if this number for which you are going to calculate the factorial is either 0 or 1, then you have to return 1, because factorial of number 0 and 1 will be 1. If number is greater than 1, so what you have to do is, you have to iterate. Like factorial of the number is very easy. Like if you mathematically suppose factorial of 6 you are going to calculate, so it will be 6 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4, 5, 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 up to multiplied by 1. So it is what is happening here. From that number, it is getting decreased by one number each time up to 1. So that is what here I have taken. Like suppose the number is 6, we have to go up to 1, and every time I have to decrease by one number. And whatever the output I am going to get, that will be multiplied by this number only. So output, here I have initialized at 1, and every time it will be multiplied by this 6. Now my output will be 6. Next time it will be 5. Next time it will be 30 into 4. Next time it will be 120 into 2, up to so on, and finally I have to return the output. So by this way, this logic of writing this factorial is complete. Now I have to call this factorial over here. So it will be factorial, and this is my input number which I have taken from the keyboard. So I am going to pass it over here. Since it is now, I am calling my function, and this is a function definition. So I have to define the function and I have to call the function. And finally since this function is returning something, so I have to return the value of this function inside this output number. So I have to write here output number, and finally we can printf the factorial of number percentage d is percentage d. So this here I have to specify the first input number as input number over here, and the next integer number for this percentage d is my output number. So this is my program which is complete, and here we have to close this main. So this is all for writing a program using iterative way for writing this program. So this is a iterative function definition because I have used for loop over here for the implementation of this factorial of the number. So here I am using this printf and scanf. These are the functions which is built in inside the program, inside the C programming language. So these printf and scanf functions is mentioned inside the library of C. So this is included. So please you have to include the library file for this. Include stdio.h. That is for standard input output header file, where you will get the definition of this printf and scanf function. So now let's save it and try to run. Save as, I will be saving it over here as factorial 1.c inside this workspace, and would like to run it by using the command line. So cmp. So for this I will be using GCC compiler factorial 1.c. So it is giving error factorial 1.c, no such file or directory, fatal error, compilation calculated. So let's see, is there factorial.c file, factorial 1.c file is already existing. So let's again save it as a C file. So it is saved. Let's try to run it. Factorial 1. So there is something. Is that spelled correct? Factorial 1.c. So here the same thing I have mentioned. Why it is not no input files? Oh, sorry. I am trying to run it here inside this directory, but it is stored inside the E drive workspace folder. So I have to go to there. CD E drive. So E drive CD space. Now, if I am going to use this command, it will be compiled. So there is some error. Okay. So here this is the error because I am calling my factorial function inside the main program like this here. So I have to give the signature of this main signature of this factorial function, so that this main should be able to understand it. So the signature of this factorial I have to mention like this. Means it is a factorial function which is taking as integer and returning as integer. So let's save. Again compile it. It has been compiled. Now it is asking me to enter a number. So let's enter the number. So if I am entering the number 4, so factorial it is printing 24. So here it is fine. So here you can see that this part is a function declaration part. Means you must be sure which function you are going to write. You must be sure what are the functions, what are the type of the variables you are going to use. You must sure what are the global variables you are going to use. If you are going to use any function, write any function, you have to call that function. So for calling that function, if you have declared some function at the top, you need to define that function also. So since this function is accepting a number and returning a number, you must use a return keyword for returning the output that will be called inside the main function. So this is all for writing the program of factorial. I hope this makes sense, and this is the logic part. This is the logic part I mentioned here. So this is the logic part E. You can see what is the logic here. Like if number is 0, 1, it will be 1. If number is greater than 1, then you have to multiply it in reducing order 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and finally you execute. So here there is only two things which you have to take care of. This is the logic which you have to write inside the function. And the other novice way, what could happen? Like if you are taking a number 6, so 6, you can take 6 different variables. For 6, one variable, 5, another variable, 4, another variable. You will take 6 different variables, integer number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. I store these numbers together and directly multiply it. So that will not be a better way, because if suppose number is a big 100, 1000, so taking all the 1000 variables will not be a good idea, because it will be storing, taking access multiple memory space inside your computer compiler, and sometimes it may hang your program. So it was one way of writing the factorial of the number. Another way what could have been, like the same program can be written recursively. So if you are going to write the program in a recursive way, so suppose let's write the program a recursive way. So here the same way we have to first write, so that because I am going to use printf and scanf function over here, and here what you have to do, function definition, integer function, integer, the function name, it will be recursive factorial underscore recursive, and it will be taking also an integer. So this is the function declaration. Now here I can write main. This is the body of the main. So here the same way I can write this is the type, input number, integer, output number, and printf. This is the function which comes from this header file. Please enter number, and that number will be entered in a new line. So now I will be taking this number from the keyboard. Scanf %d the specifier, which takes says that we are going to accept a number of type integer. That is the construct which is already defined in the C language. So we can't do anything with it. We have to memorize. So scanf ampersand is telling you that you are going to refer the number which you are taking from the keyboard to a memory location, and this will be referred by this variable input number. The same way as we have done earlier. So construct of the main is same, and what I have to do, I have to call this function, define somewhere this function factorial recursive. I am going to calling this. So for calling this will be called by the input this input number, and the output will be stored inside this output number. And finally, I have to print this output. Printf the value of factorial of number %d h %d. So this will be the number I am taking from the keyboard, and this is the number which I am getting as the result of the factorial from here. So this is all for my main. Now main body is closed. I have written the logic inside the main. This is the input number variable. This is the output number. These two are my global variable, which is mentioned as here C. And this is the function declaration part. If you are going to take any function, you must have to declare it on the top of your program. Next thing is that these are the two functions which are already declared inside the C language for displaying the output and for taking the input from the keyboard. Here I am calling this function. Since I am going to define the logic here inside this function, I have to define the function definition part. So this will be the function definition of factorial recursively. Okay. So what exactly the recursively means? Like suppose if there is a number of factorial 6. So as I already told, 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So it is something factorial 6. 6 is my number, right? The input number. So it is my input number. So you can say that this is my input number into. Okay. So this is what? This is factorial 5. So if my function is factorial 6, this is my function. So recursive definition says that the result will be number into factorial of n minus 1. So if it is n, it will be n minus 1. So this I can write as input number into factorial of input number minus 1. This is my recursive definition. Means a function is calling by itself. So there was a function factorial of a number, input number. Next time it is calling factorial of 5. Next time it is calling factorial of 4. Next time it is calling factorial of 3. Then factorial of 2. Then factorial of 1. So this is what I am going to define recursively. So logic for this. So here also it is returning function recursive. So this will be this input number we need to change, because this input number is for a global variable which is used inside this main. So here I am taking it as number, because the same variable I cannot use here, and I am going to define this function. So we have to define it, this body. So here I have to apply the logic. So here, since this function is going to return me the output, so I have to make a local variable for storing the output. So this will be the output, and initially I assume that my output is 1 byte, because the factorial of 0 and 1 is 1. So here I am writing if my number, so this number is of type integer, so I have to mention it here as integer. So if my number is equal to 0, then return 1. And if the number is greater than 0, then return what I must get. I must get output as number into, I'm going to call the same function factorial recursive by number minus 1. Each time it should be reduced, and here I am going to return the output. So I guess this has been completed now. Let's factorial recursive 1.c. I've saved it. Now let's try to run this program and see what is the output. So here I'm going to write gcc factorial underscore recursive 1.c. Oh, it is giving multiple output. Sorry, here I'm using print, so I have to correct it. So this is here printf, not printf. And one more thing, since this main is not returning anything, I have to mention it void. Now let's again try to compile this. So my program has been successfully compiled, and let's see the output. Enter a number 4, and the factorial of this number is 24. So both the program is correct. Now what we have seen is writing these programs is a game of playing with variables and functions by applying some logics. So you have to decide like what variables you are using based on the input and output. You have to decide what is the function name. That should be a meaningful function name, and you have to write the logic based on the output which you are going to take from that function. So if you are very confident with the variables and the functions and the logic, then you can write any sort of program. So I expect that by referring this program, you would be ready to write another program of writing the prime number for palindromes, a program for palindrome, and even and odd number, These three you will try to implement so that you will have a hand-on exercise of writing the program using C language. So the concept is same in all the languages, only these nomenclatures are changed because it varies from the program to program, but the variable declaration is almost same. But taking the input and output from the keyboard and displaying it to the console, it is something different. It depends on the programming language. REST function definition is same. You can define it by using the same way, but some of the languages like Python is having their own construct, as well as Java is having their own construct for defining these functions, but the logic is almost same. So I hope that you will enjoy this session and will try to write the program by yourself. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.